What's up? On this episode of Build the Kingdom, we are still working towards redemption, or rebirth. The phoenix rising from the ashes. The suspension's back in the car now, bolted in. Steering's hooked up. I'm a little questionable on that right front axle. Feels a little bit weird when I turn it. Might have to swap that out. As far as struts and spindles, I inspected the spindles. They look good. The struts appear to be straight. The contact was straight on, so the wheels didn't actually make hard contact with anything. So I'm really hoping that the struts are okay. They look straight, so I guess we're not really going to know until we hit the racetrack. Gonna have to set toe, obviously. It's just loose in there right now. Nothing's tight. Well, everything's tight except for the tie rods because I'm going to have to adjust those. But I just got done putting mud guards back in and trying to refit this fender because everything's a little bit bent. So I'm going to have my body get my body hammers out, straighten some of this stuff out, and find all the 10mm bolts that hold everything together. And kind of sort of start putting the body back on at this point, except for the front, because I still got to make the entire front bumper structure. I went and got tubing. Don's hopefully bending me some pipes here soon, or I might have to go down there and try to do it myself, help him out, whatever. He's got all the dimensions in a book down there, so I'm going to need his help a little bit. And I still have to put all my weight back in, which I have to surgically remove from the completely mangled old rail. Yeah, that's where we're at. We're just going to keep moving forward. But today, it will be back on the ground with wheels on it again, back on its own suspension, which would be a cool step to see it back down. Sitting on all fours and technically movable because it runs. So I should probably put it in gear and move it around and make sure that the transmission and axles and everything function properly after a hit like that, because it didn't run or move under its own power after the hit. It died immediately on impact. So yeah, should probably do that in this episode. Should probably get it in gear, drive it up and down, back and forth in and out of the garage a couple times, turn the wheels back and forth, make sure everything is still functioning. Power steering box is also a little bit questionable. It moved stuff. It ripped the steering shaft off the front section of spline on the power steering box, which is electric power steering on these cars. And it bent the mount under the dash. It was a hit, okay? It was a hell of a hit. So, yeah, gonna have to check all the power steering, make sure that stuff's still working. Part of the problem we had was when it moved the box under the dash, it pinched the fuel pump wire. That was one of the problems we were having with getting it started last week. But we found that and fixed that. Everything is hooked back up, but we have to actually do a move test. So we will get to that. But I'm going to keep body working these panels, try to get them hung on the car, and then I got to deal with that lead situation there. And put my radiator screen back on. Check the list off, Here we go. Those of you that have been around for a while have seen this before. As you can see, mine not in the greatest of shape, but it will do what it's supposed to do. This is actually fireplace screen. You can get it right on eBay, or if you have a wood stove place near you, then you can probably get it there. But it's nice because it's kind of like chainmail. Bounces, keeps the mud out of your radiator. This is really a dirt track guy thing, not so much asphalt guys, but you dirt track guys, maybe you asphalt guys, maybe it keeps the rubber out of the radiator, I don't know. But yeah, just a little screen I hang in front of the radiator to kind of keep the mud out of it. The mud hits the screen, dries out, and then the screen's bouncing while you're driving and the mud kind of just falls off. It actually works quite well. I did this on the cars that I build and then sell. So you've seen this before if you've been here a while, but this is what's left of mine. As you can see, after 5 years. It's a little rough. Yeah, it's definitely seen better days. This rod's bent, but normally I run this across behind it and rivet it to the frame rails. That's just to keep this from sticking to the radiator in the case that we have like a lot of mud. Like if it's really, really muddy, I'll run this little thing across from frame rail to frame rail just to keep this from sticking to the radiator itself. I'm going to try to straighten that and put it back on, but aluminum doesn't usually like to go back once it's bent. It usually breaks. This is actually going easier than I expected it to. Just take your time, be nice and gentle with it. That might work. A little body hammer work on the end of it. Rivet that back to the frame rail, like so. And that keeps the screen from sticking to the radiator. Now I know somebody is going to call me out on this because they probably saw it in the last video, this zip tie up here. The little thing sticking up on the top of the radiator was broke off on this side. This is a used radiator. This one came out of a Malibu, 2.4 Malibu. I had it out back on the shelf. The radiator I ordered from Rock Auto came wrong. They sent me the wrong one. The one out of the Malibu is a little bit thicker, which I like. However, it has the tranny cooler in it because it was an automatic, which I don't like. So we'll see what happens. As long as she stays under 230, we'll be good. But yeah, the little stub that sticks up and catches the radiator mount on this side is broke off. So that's why there's a zip tie there. But I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's good. It's a race car. Who am I kidding? If it was a street car, I would have done the same thing. But anyways, that's where we're at. I'm going to try to straighten this one out a little bit more. But screen's going on. Put some rivets in this, get that back on there. As you can see, fenders are back on. Tires and wheels are back on. She's sitting on the floor on her own. I still have to fix that coil wire before we can do a move test. And maybe I'll put my nut in before I do that too. That's going to be a little bit of work. Got to find my spot weld cutter. Not sure where that ended up. Such is life working on race cars. All right, so I told you I was going to put the lead back in. This is what I mean by lead. This is what was in the car before the crash. I thought there was more inside this frame rail than there actually was. There was only 3 small bars in there. I thought I had that thing packed full, but no. This was actually the first lead we ever put on the car, was these 3 blocks here, down low as we can get it on the left front. And then I actually added this after the fact, and then after that I actually added this one on the outside. This threaded rod actually goes through these 3 bricks. So that's lead on the front of the car. It was like 100 pounds there, maybe a little bit more, but you've all seen my scale numbers before. It's not that hard to find them. This is that left front weight. Keep this tire on the ground spinning. Oh yeah, things are happening over here. Getting body back on the car. That front bumper did not line up as good as I wanted to. Those front flanges were a little wonky. I don't know, the car that this came off of must have got hit in the front, or who knows what happened, but those front bumper mount plates were wonky, okay? They were wonky. I had to weld the front bumper on. That's fine, don't worry about it. Ignore that. But the body's going back on the car. Whew. At some point here, I gotta run and grab a coil off one of the parts cars. Not a coil, a plug with the wires off one of the parts cars. But I'm in the shop and I'm moving, so I'm not stopping. I'm just gonna keep moving forward here. That's not too bad. That doesn't look too bad. That other quarter panel on the other side, yeah, that needs some work. All right, we got all the bars for the front bumper. Well, let's start rebuilding the front bumper. So I gotta get my hole saw out, drill some holes up there in that corner so I can slide this in there. I am gonna cut some of the leg off on this. I'm not sliding that whole leg up in there. Although, it probably would have given it some more strength. Of course, then again, we drove the front of this into a car, which probably may have caused that to bend more. You know, hindsight's 20/20. I'm not sure. I think we're gonna cut some of the leg off. I don't think we're gonna drive the leg all the way in there. I think that's too much. I'd rather it bend out in front of that horn than bend the whole horn. So we're gonna cut some of the leg off of this, but I'm gonna get my hole saw out. I'm gonna drill a hole. See if I can mark it with this. Scratch it. Scratch the paint. Break that general area. About there. See? It's more than one way to skin a cat. Get my hole saw out. I'm gonna poke some holes. I'm gonna cut some of the leg off of this. A little bit, maybe half of it. slide that up in there. I can't slide it like permanent weld it, but we can slide it up in there. I'm gonna have to get the nose in here, and we'll pull this back out until the nose kind of sort of lines up a little bit. Then we put some down legs from this to here, and there's another bar that goes across here that we'll put on, and then we have a bottom bar, U-bar, for the front of the nose. And then technically the structure is rebuilt. After that, the nose goes on for the last time. That's about it after that. I still gotta fix that coil wire, but I went and grabbed a coil plug off the parts car. So, we're almost there. We're almost there. But, while you're waiting for me to do this and get set up, here's some GoPro footage from my son's quarter midget race last night. It was pretty exciting. He did good, finished 5th, but he was up to 4th at once. He started 6th. It was a little jumble. There were some cautions, but he did great. He wasn't a part of any of the cautions, so he's getting there. He's improving. I just realized his core support's got a big dent in it that I didn't notice before. Anyways, enjoy. I'll be back. I know you can't see that bar because it's currently under the nose, but I drilled 2 holes there in that upper bar, upper unibody structure. I cut about half that leg off, about half a leg. And then I gotta put the nose on so I can slide it forward until it touches the nose and then weld it. As a Cleco, if you don't have some of those, go on eBay or Amazon or wherever and order you some of these. Special pair of pliers. This goes in here. You press it, little thing comes out. Temporarily holds spots where you want to rivet so that you can fit things without having to put rivets in and then drill them back out. They're cheap. They're worth every penny. Because I build cars on occasion, I have some because it's really helpful when you're trying to hang doors or hang especially nose pieces like this. So as you can see, the nose hanging on the car. I just closed the hood to see how it would fit. This nose piece is in rough shape. It got run over in the process of getting towed off the track. She's seen better days. She's not in good shape. So it's on the car. Now I got to slide that bar forward until it touches. So we'll reach in here. Oh, it's already touching on that side. And almost touching on that side. Just slide this forward. Something like that. Everything's twisted. This nose is in bad shape. But I got to make sure I got it in a decent spot so that next year when we fix the car and put new body panels and a new nose on it, we can get it all put together. We don't want it stretched too far. If I put the bar too far forward, I won't be able to get the new nose on next year. We are definitely going to need a new nose for next year. I will donate this one to someone because, yeah, it's rough. It's a little beat up. Maybe I'll save it. Maybe I'll be a cheapskate and try to save it. Probably not. That's not usually my style. Being a cheapskate is my style, but when it comes to appearance of the car, I tend to care. All right, that bar is lower than I would like it, but I think I'm gonna pull it up a little bit and weld it right there. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Yep. So, you're not really gonna be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm gonna tack this top bar in where I want it, then I'm gonna remove the nose piece. Yep. Then I'm gonna remove the nose piece, put the down tubes to the top of the bumper, and put the front bar on, because there's enough room where we're at right now. Gotta remember, the stuff was on here before, so where this nose is mounted should be pretty close within reason. So I'm gonna tack this, I'm gonna pull the top bar up a little, tack it, make these down tubes that go to the top of the front bumper, put the front hoop on, and then I will mount the nose again with the Clecos to set the bottom bar, because I actually put a little bit of angle on it and I bring it out so that it touches this nose piece and keeps everything stiff. That's what we're doing. So I'm gonna keep moving. All right, as you can see, middle bar is in, down tubes are on, top tube's on. The only tube left is this bottom U bar here, but I gotta temporarily hang the nose one last time so that I can get the pitch on this bar correct. Once I get the pitch done, weld this bar in, and then we put the nose on for the last time. Almost there. I was out of black paint, all right? So she got the sail blue because I had 2 cans of that. So it is what it is. It's blue for now. All right? Don't judge.
that's it for this week's Build a Kingdom video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Got a couple small things to do, but overall, we're pretty much ready to get back on track. Until next time, keep it creative and happy building.